Welcome to the Desert Gridiron Gameplan, an epic coaches show talking all things Arizona high school football. And now, your hosts, James Poovey, Ed Cole, and Parker Garash. Take it away, gentlemen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll welcome you in for another edition of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan here on the Epic Sports Network. James Poovey coming to you live alongside my broadcast partner, Mr. Ed Cole. Ed, unfortunately, Parker Garash not able to join us tonight. Unfortunately, not feeling quite great this evening, but we'll hope he gets to feeling better very soon. But I'm super excited to preview our Thursday Night Kickoff matchup this week. Once again, we've got Cesar Chavez battling the Westwood Warriors 4-2 against 4-2. It should be fun.
Yeah, I cannot wait to get out to Mesa on Thursday. JP, Chavez, and Westwood, two, as you mentioned, 4-2 teams battling at that 6A Fiesta region, which is a jam-packed region. There's so many good teams in that region, and I can't wait for this game because it's going to be a slobber knocker, as you like to say.
Yes, it is indeed. Let's get right to it. Let's get head coach Chandler Hovick and wide receiver / ATH MJ Woodbury joining us here on the program. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. We certainly appreciate it. Coach Hovick, we'll start with you. 4-2 so far, a great start to the season. It's your first season back there at Chavez. Just give us a breakdown on how it's gone there for the champions so far this year.
Yeah, I'm extremely proud of where the guys are right now, where we are as a team. You know, coming into the season, we had really high expectations, right? From the work that these guys put in, we expected some success, and these guys have put in work every single day to get to where they are right now. And we're in a really good spot where we control our own destiny, and all of our goals are still ahead of us, which is great.
Coach, what an honor it must be for you to come back to your alma mater. You graduated a few years ago, 2012, so about 12 years ago. But for you to come back and coach your alma mater in your first season, you got your guys in prime position at 4-2, 1-0 in that 6A Fiesta region, which again is a monster region. How was it for you through your first 6 games as head coach of your alma mater, the Champions?
Man, it's been a huge blessing. You know, the support that we have from the community, faculty, everyone who's involved in Cesar Chavez. It's the greatest blessing in the world. And for us to be sitting at 4-2 right now, last year we had the same schedule, right? 3-7, didn't win a region game. So for us to get started on the right foot in the region, that was a big goal of ours to, be able to compete. And we look forward to, these last 4 games in the region. They're all going to be dogfights, but we're looking forward to the challenge.
Coach, now you are an alumni there of Cesar Chavez High School. You played a little quarterback. We were able to pull up some film of you graduating in the class of 2012. You played for legendary coach Jim Rattay. That's some great looking film right there.
Look at that 4K
tell us how
footage,
it came about for you to get back there at Chavez and be able to coach at your alma mater.
Yeah, man. So my 8th grade year, I played for the Southside Jackrabbits, and a bunch of us decided to go over to Chavez. Knew Coach Rattay was a great coach. So I spent my 4 years there. After I was done, I got to coach with Coach Rattay for a couple of years as an assistant, and I got hired as a head coach at Central. Spent my last 5 years. Then I knew there was an opening at Chavez, and I still know a lot of people over there. And I was very interested in coming home. I knew at some point in my career I would want to make the jump back, and I thought this is a great time to do it. And I'm blessed with a terrific senior class. I couldn't ask for a better senior class going into my first year. And we got some younger guys, too, who are really excited about.
Coach, before your bye on October 3rd, you beat Desert Ridge by 13, 25-12. Just recap that game. And how big was it to get a win, like right before you got into the bye week? That way you can kind of flow into the bye week a lot better, knowing that you got the victory as opposed to a loss.
We talked about that a lot going into the bye week. Like, that game was everything to us. For where we really want to go. We knew that really that was a must-win game for us. We knew Desert Ridge is going to be tough. They're going to be nasty. And our defense really stepped up. Special teams, MJ had a huge kick return for a touchdown. It was 6-0 at halftime. Defense playing lights out. And then we wore them down for those 4 quarters, pulled away at the end. But our defense, man, they really kept us in that game.
Coach, you brought MJ Woodbury along with you tonight here. Tell us what this young man means, not only to your offense, but your entire football team. We title him as one of those ATHs, the guy that does everything for the ball club. Talk to us a little bit about MJ.
Yeah, man. MJ's a special dude. Talk about a guy who's really the face of the program. He does everything the right way, shows up to work every single day. He's got a great energy about him. And then his play backs it up. Like, it's great to have all those things, but you still got to go out and perform. And he's doing that, right? He competes every day in practice. You know, every time he touches the ball, there's a chance that it's going to be a home run play, as you can see here on the highlights. You're right. We're getting him more reps at running back, put him in the slot a little bit. But he's a lockdown corner, and we know, he's our punt returner. He'll be an all-state punt returner, kick returner. He could really do it all for us, and we're just looking for ways to get the ball in his hands more.
MJ, all the stuff that all the accolades that coach just put on you, and we're checking your highlights. What does that do for the rest of the football team to see what your brothers are seeing you out there achieving and making things happen on offense, defense, special teams, everywhere, everything that you do? How does that rub off on the rest of your brothers, and they kind of follow suit with what you do on the football field?
I feel like when I get going and they see me that get going and making plays and stuff, it gets them excited to also make plays, so we can all like ball out together. So it's not just one person; it's everybody making plays together.
MJ, talk to us about the culture change there since Coach Hovick has taken over in his first season now as returning to Chavez now as a head coach. Talk about the impact he's made on the program there.
He's made a huge impact on, I know last year it was a lot less discipline, a lot playing around and stuff. So and we went 3-7. So obviously there wasn't much going for us. But then when Coach Hovick came and he got us disciplined, no playing around. Everybody was locked in at all times over the summer. It was little to no joking. It was all seriousness in the weight room and on the field, just working on ways to get better so we just don't repeat what happened last year. And then Coach Hovick, he's just drilled it in our minds. We got to stay disciplined and play Chavez football.
MJ, what are some things that you worked on in the offseason? Again, 3-7. That was clearly not the season that you wanted. But what are some things that you wanted, that you decided, hey, I'm going to focus on A, B, C, all the way through Z? If you had to do 26 different things, if you had to go from A to Z, what are some things that you wanted to pinpoint in your game, whether it's something physical or something mental, like changing up your approach to the game of football?
What I did, I just went to my trainers, Will A. Brown, my DB trainer. I go to him like 3 times throughout the week after practice or before practice. And I just get better at getting out my breaks and just being able to understand route concepts and how people break and how many each steps I should get out my break. And then I also went to my he used to be the DB coach last year, Coach Sko, and I just got a little more explosive, a lot more pushing sleds and flipping tires and stuff like that. So just getting better, being more explosive.
Coach Hovick, you guys are coming off the bye week, now headed down the home stretch, as we say here, and getting ready for playoff time. What have you guys been concentrating on over the past, we'll say, week and a half or so since that final game there before the bye week to get ready for this stretch run?
Yeah, so we felt like the bye week came at the perfect time, right? We grind for those 6 weeks, and now it's really the second half of our season. So our body's got to recover a little bit. We've gone full pads these last 2 days, so it's been nice to start tackling, hitting again, get back into the swing of things. We did a couple days over the break as well. And now really, we really want to be Chavez made is what we call it, right? That toughness, that grit, that discipline, everything that we've talked about since we started in January, we want that to come to fruition these last 4 games. We know if we want to have a chance to win at the end of the game, all those things are going to be necessary. We got to be the smartest team on the field. We got to get aligned properly. Everything that comes with success, we got to make sure we're doing on a daily basis in practice and off the field.
MJ, of course, Westwood poses a huge challenge going to Mesa and trying to beat them. When you watch them on film, they run the ball really well. So on defense, you're going to really have to account for that running game. They're averaging about almost 200 yards rushing a game, so they can tote the rock a lot. So when you watch them on film and you're preparing for Thursday, what do you see from Westwood?
I just see that they're a bunch of nasty dudes, some tough dudes. They not coming to lay down for us at all. Like we gotta like we practice all week. We gotta be tough. We did hidden drills on Monday, full speed practice today too. So, we know what we gotta do. We just gotta be tough and get ready to play.
MJ, a lot of teams will always say, it's much more fun to play at home in front of the home crowd, but it's also a lot of fun to go on the road and really lock in and focus on the game and eliminate some of the home distractions, if you will. Talk about the mindset for your team as you guys head into this road game this week at Westwood.
We just got to be locked in. Just do your job. If you just do your job, we all know we got a job. We all have our assignments to do. If we all do our assignments together, then it'll shake out our way. But if we don't get out of our head and get out of our body, then it won't be good. But we all locked in, so it should be a good game.
Coach, two things. Your team can run the ball really well as well. I would think that ball control, running the football, it will be of paramount importance as well. Keeping that Westwood offense off the field, also winning the turnover battle. Talk about those two things. Those two things that are going to be really huge to a victory over the Warriors on Thursday.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. You guys know that Westwood pounds the rock. They got a great offensive line. They got a great running back. Really their entire team. But when you can run the rock like they do and play great defense like they do, they're always going to be in the game. So we got to try to shut down number 2 the best that we can. We know it's going to be a tough task. Sorry, I'm losing my voice from all the yelling today. We know it's going to be a tough task, but we also know that we got to try to control the line of scrimmage. We can't put the ball on the ground, right? Whether it's a fumble or interceptions, we got to make sure we're making the correct reads, get the ball out to our playmakers. But if we can win that turnover battle, that will definitely be huge for us.
Coach, you've got 4 wins under your belt there at Chavez in your first season as head coach. You've also been able to absorb a couple of losses as well, and that's critical to instilling that culture that you want to there at Chavez. How have you really been able to put your stamp on this football program?
Yeah, man. To be honest, like every week that we prepare, we're preparing to be victorious at the end of the day. Like we go into every game. We're never not going to go into a game just trying to keep it tight or hang close. Like we played National Power Chandler week 1. And our mindset was like, let's go beat these dudes. And that's what it's got to be. That same mindset carried over to Mountain Point and they gave it to us. We were ready. We didn't do a good enough coaching the guys and getting them in the right positions. But the mindset every week is we're going to prepare our tails off. We're going to make sure we understand what they're doing offensively, defensively, try to get our guys in the best position for them to be successful. And then, our guys deserve all the credit for going out there and putting in the work. But mindset goes a long ways in what we're really trying to do with our program. These guys truly believe that if we play Chavez style ball, that we'll have a chance at the end of the game. That's really all we can ask for.
MJ, Coach mentioned that Chandler game in late August. It was a 27-18 game. It was close. You only lost by 9 to a national powerhouse. Over those next 5 weeks after that loss, how do you think the team has grown, and how do you think you've grown since that opening week loss to Chandler?
I feel like we've grown a lot. Like as a team, when we realized that we could hang with Chandler and play good ball for 4 quarters, we realized that we could really do something with our season. And it's like field. Even though we took that loss to Mountain Point, I feel like it was just a bad game. Like we, as a team, we all know how good we could play, our potential. So, and we just stay locked in all the time, stay focused on our goal to just win at everything we do. Then our mentality will just be like that, and we'll just win as much as we can. That's all we got to do.
MJ, we'd like to give you a chance to shout out some folks maybe at the house who helped things go for you. It's not easy to be a high school athlete, especially playing as well as you do and balance all the responsibilities of school and practice. You get home late sometimes. You don't feel like doing certain things. Mom and dad might have to have things ready to go for you. Who would you like to give some love to that help keep things grounded for you at the house?
I just want to shout out my mom and my dad. Every time I come home is how was your day at school and stuff. So they always, checking up on me. My mom's always asking me how I am, if I'm okay and stuff. Because, football is a burden sometimes. It's fun, but it'll break your body down. So it's my mom and my dad always keeping me in my headspace.
MJ Woodbury, ATH for the Cesar Chavez champions, and head coach Chandler Hovick joining us here on the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. Gentlemen, we're looking forward to Thursday. We'll see you in just about 48 hours from now, and travel safe over to Mesa. Thank you for joining us, and we certainly appreciate your time here this evening.
We appreciate you having us on. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with more of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. We will head to Mesa and visit with head coach Brandon Large and the rest of the Westwood Warriors when we return. Stay with us. More to come right after the break.
Have you had the craving for the best burrito anywhere? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Burrito Express, your local burrito joint. Come on in.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Burrito Express.
With 7 Valley locations and a new South Chandler location opening soon, your new favorite burrito is just right around the corner. Burrito Express, a proud supporter of Thursday Night Kickoff on CW7 Arizona.
CW7 Arizona, your home for live golf, NASCAR, college football, and college hoops. It's also your home for live local high school football starting August 22nd. Catch all the action as we bring you football's first game of the week every Thursday night. See some of Arizona's top athletes and biggest rivalries from divisions across the state. Thursday Night Kickoff, only on CW7 Arizona.
We welcome you back here on the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. James Poovey alongside my broadcast partner, Mr. Ed Cole. Ed, always great to catch up with the Cesar Chavez champions, and Coach Hovick doing a great job there in his first season at the helm.
Yeah, again, he's got to be so excited to come back to his alma mater. He graduated from there 12 years ago, so now everything's come full circle for him, JP. Now he's coaching at his alma mater for the champions, and as we mentioned, got him in prime position, 4-2, 1-0 in the 6A Fiesta, and they got a huge game on Thursday out in Mesa.
They do indeed. We're excited to bring it to you live on CW7 Arizona. We'll be on the air this Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. for the pregame show, live from on the field there at Westwood High School. And coming on with us now, head coach Brandon Large and Dallin Hanson joining us here on the program. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here this evening. We appreciate your time. Coach Large, we'll start with you. A 4-2 start to the season. Just tell us about how things are going out there in Mesa for the Westwood Warriors so far this year.
Things are going well. Our boys are really buying into the program that we're trying to build and really competing and trying to get better each and every day. So things are going well. We took a lump on our last game against Mountain View, but we're looking to kind of rebound this week.
Yeah, well, Mountain View is kind of like that, Coach. They put it on pretty much every team they play. That's one of the top teams in your region. But even though it was 50-6, it was a bad loss for you. What did you take away? What did you see in your football team? Are there any positives that you took away from that game?
Yeah, we didn't turn the ball over offensively. That was a big thing. And I think that there's some things that we need to do differently in our preparation and just making sure that our guys are ready to go and things like that. So,
Coach, you guys had a big win last year in this game over at Cesar Chavez. How do you keep that momentum going this year and secure another win against the champions?
Yeah, that game last year was a big win for us. Cesar Chavez is playing very, very well this year, and Coach Hovick's done a great job over there in the short time that he's been there. And those guys are flying around and playing really good football. So we just got to execute and stay focused on what we need to do and do our jobs individually, and hopefully we'll put ourselves in a position to be victorious.
Coach, you brought a monster on with you, Dallin Hanson, this kid at defensive back spot, 37 tackles. He's up there leading the team. He's got a TFL. He's just making plays. What is it about Dallin that makes him so good, and how impressed are you with his play throughout the first 6 games of the season?
Dallin's a leader for us. Nobody is going to outwork Dallin. He puts in so much time in film and in the off season. He works super hard to put himself in a position to be successful this year. He was a starter for us last year at safety as a sophomore, and he's just had a really, really good junior year. And we're super excited, and we're lucky to have him on our team.
Dallin, we'll ask you a quick question. How is it to play for Coach Large, and how proud are you to be a part of that Westwood Warriors football team?
I mean, I'm super proud of it. I'm glad I was like the first year of him getting hired, so I'll be the first full 4 years of him. I'm super glad he got the job. I didn't know the coach at all that was here before, Coach Large and all the other coaches that came. So I love the defense that I play on. I love like the system and how we run things. So I can't be more glad.
Yeah, Dallin, I was going to ask you that Westwood Warrior football is all you've ever known from freshman, sophomore, junior year. What is it about this program that's kept you around and that's impressed you so much and that's gotten into your heart and your level of football that's kept you around for 3 years over in Mesa?
Yeah, I mean, I love football and just everything about it. Like obviously we didn't have like a super like crazy season last year, but it's just like the things in it that you see are changing, the things that are going well. It's like you're not gonna just like quit after a loss. Like you can see the things that are changing, and obviously it worked this year with how things are going compared to last season. So that's been keeping me in it for sure.
Dallin, you had a chance to go up against some pretty prolific offensive weapons over the past few seasons there at Westwood High School with quarterback Jordan Hanks and Nikita McCrimmon, one of the all-star wide receivers there that both those gentlemen have now graduated. How did they make you better from day to day as a defensive back?
You get to see like what good players are gonna do, like how they run their routes, how they keep their head up during plays. So it's like if I'm playing a receiver who's not near as good, like I wouldn't expect the same things. But then if I go up against a stud, it's like I know these routes are going to look a lot more like this than how other receivers are running them.
Coach, you got a really good running attack, almost 200 yards rushing a game. Keyshawn Barkis is actually, he's leading the team in rushing. And of course, Elliott Reed is right behind him. They've got 5 touchdowns apiece. How important will that running game be against Cesar Chavez on Thursday? We asked Coach Hovick about that, the importance of running the football and controlling the clock on Thursday night.
Yeah, I've been talking with our coaches and with our guys since I got hired and told them that if you want to be a successful football team, you got to be able to run the football effectively and you got to play really, really good defense. And I think that's probably the biggest jump that we've made this year, to be honest, is we're playing really great defense and we're able to control the line of scrimmage and take care of the football, which is, like I said, the biggest difference in this season from the past two. Keyshawn is a stud. Elliott is playing really well. He's taking care of the football and not making bad decisions. And our offensive line is the strength of our offense. We're young in the skill positions, right? Elliott's a junior, Keyshawn's a sophomore. But our offensive line is kind of what's carrying us and keeping us together. Those guys, there's a few first team all-region players on the offensive line from years past, and a lot of guys with a lot of playing experience on our offensive line, which are kind of carrying us on offense. Defensive line as well, like those guys can stop the run. Those guys can get after it up front. And so when you can play a physical brand of football, it just you feel like you're never out of a game. So,
Coach, you've got a couple seasons under your belt there now at Westwood. What is the overall perception of Westwood football now on campus when you're around there every day? And then how much will the crowd play a factor in the game on Thursday night?
Our 3 home games so far this year we've had great crowds, and so I would hope that will be the same thing this week with it being a Thursday night game and televised. I hope and expect that we'll have a good crowd out there, and I think the culture and the kind of I guess reputation of Westwood football around campus is growing. We try and do the right thing on campus, and we try and hold our players accountable and make sure that teachers are holding our players accountable to do the right thing. And it really helps when you have guys like Dallin, who's a 4.7 GPA kid, and he's not the only one. We have lots of kids that are in that situation, and when you have kids like that are the leaders of your team and they're also leaders on campus, it really makes a difference. And so we're lucky to have guys like that. When you talked a little bit about Dallin earlier and you talked about what it means to him to be a Westwood football player, Dallin's pretty modest, but Dallin grew up right here and he has a lot of siblings that have all went to Westwood. I believe his mom went to Westwood. And so he has deep roots at Westwood, and he grew up going to Westwood football games. And I'm sure I'm probably speaking for him, but I'm sure he's very, very proud of the impact that he's having up at Westwood right now.
Well, Dallin, why don't you follow up, Coach, and everything that he shared, especially the 4.7 GPA. Congratulations on that, DH. That is amazing. So many achievements in the classroom. What does that mean for you to have a GPA. You get in the classroom, you hit your books, you take care of your business in the classroom. And of course, as you mentioned, as coach mentioned, your mother went to Westwood. It's a family kind of thing with you and the Warriors. Just the atmosphere. What does all that mean to you?
It's all from my family. I grew up in a house where like you're expected to have A's, you're expected to have good grades, and then I live across the street from Westwood, so of course like going to games, you hear names like I hear Manny Collier and Ethan Johnson growing up. Like those are names that like those stick in my head from Westwood football games. It's like that's the goal, is to like I hope my name sticks in kids' heads, if that makes sense. Like.
Yes, it totally makes sense, Dallin, and I can imagine the pride that your family must have as well, watching you play at the same school where they attended, and I'm sure they did great things in the past there as well. How much do you feel like you represent that family name every time you put that orange helmet on?
Man, I mean, I hope I'm doing the best. I can't really speak for whatever others think of it, but I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. I sure try, at least.
Brandon, Coach Brandon, Dallin, Coach mentioned, get it right, Ed. Dallin, Coach mentioned the word culture, and you mentioned just changes from last season to this season, from 2-8 to 4-2. How did you change your approach to football? How did you change in the off season and your approach to this coming season? What did you do in the off season to work yourself even more physical and more mental to get ready for the season, and a shift for yourself?
I think the biggest issue with us last season was upperclassmen leadership. Like, I wouldn't say we had a ton of leadership from the upper class. Of course, we had some dudes, but for the most part, there wasn't much. And I texted Coach Large probably like 2 months after season. I said like culture has to start changing now. Like this is when it begins. So I like to pride myself and think that I'm offering good leadership to underclassmen, and especially freshmen coming in, so they can do the same throughout their years.
Coach, what an awesome young man you got on the ball club there in Dallin Hanson. And we are certainly grateful to have you guys on Thursday Night Football once again. What kind of adjustment is it? You know, a couple of years ago when we started this thing, it was a tough sell to say, hey, we want to put a game on the air or on YouTube or now actually on television. And we want to do it on Thursday. And as soon as you say Thursday, the coaches are like, oh, wait a minute, I don't know about that. What kind of adjustments do you have to make going into a Thursday night game as opposed to a normal Friday evening matchup?
There's definitely some adjustments with your practice schedule and kind of making sure that you get everything in that you need to get in the week. We're actually coming off of before fall break, we played Mountain View on Thursday as well. So these are back-to-back Thursday games for us. This one's a little bit different because we had fall break. So we had a couple practices there at the end of fall break to kind of help prepare for this week. So it's not a huge adjustment this week, knowing that we've already had 2 additional practices to kind of prepare for this game. I always love the opportunity to play a game on TV or to play a game that's broadcasted, and any opportunity that I can get to kind of showcase our program and to give our kids some spotlight, I want to take advantage of that. And so I appreciate you guys giving us this opportunity, and we really look forward to these games.
Absolutely. Coach, I want to ask you about 2 monsters on your defensive line, James Marshall and Preston Atwood. 56 tackles between those 2 young men, 21 TFLs, 12 sacks. Those 2 are just absolutely killing it on the defensive line. How big will they be on Thursday against Chavez?
Yeah, so those guys controlling the line of scrimmage has been huge for us. We knew coming into this year that our defensive line was going to be a very big strength for us as well, offensive line, defensive line. And those guys have lived up to the expectations that have been set on them. James was as a sophomore, he was going to be a starting defensive end for us, and then broke his leg the week of the first game, so he had to miss his sophomore season. Last year, he started as a junior for us and had a great year. And then Preston Atwood last year started as a sophomore and had a great year. Him and Dallin are actually really, really good buddies. And James has a 3.9 GPA. Preston Atwood has a 3.6 GPA, a 4.6 GPA. And so those guys are great students and great leaders, and everything that you want as a coach. And they hold their teammates accountable, and they go out there and they put in the work necessary to play well on Thursday nights or Friday nights. So.
You're muted, JP.
Oh, there we go. I did it again. Coach Brandon Large and defensive back Dallin Hanson joining us here on the Desert Gridiron Game Plan from the Westwood Warriors. We will have them live this Thursday night for Thursday Night Kickoff as they host the Cesar Chavez champions. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We certainly appreciate you joining us, and we will see you in 2 short days over at your place. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We're looking forward to it as well.
Absolutely,
Thank you, guys.
and enjoy that pep rally on Thursday morning as well. That's a great time with Brad Perry coming out there. You guys are going to have a fun time.
Yeah, we're excited for it.
Stay with us. More of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan coming up. We'll take a look at the newly released AIA rankings when we return, and we'll also preview a huge matchup coming this Friday night between the Cactus Shadows Falcons and the ALA-Gilbert North Eagles. Stay with us. More of the Gridiron Game Plan coming up next.
Have you had the craving for the best burrito anywhere? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Burrito Express, your local burrito joint. Come on in.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Burrito Express.
With 7 Valley locations and a new South Chandler location opening soon, your new favorite burrito is just right around the corner. Burrito Express, a proud supporter of Thursday Night Kickoff on CW7 Arizona.
We welcome you back here on the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. Ed, always great to catch up with those fine athletes and coaches there. And I'm excited to have this game again on Thursday Night Football between the Westwood Warriors and the Cesar Chavez champions. It was great being out at Chavez last year, and it'll be our first trip to the home of the Westwood Warriors this Thursday.
And how great is it to just find out stories about these young men, JP? Dallin's got a 4.7 GPA. His family, it's a legacy thing at Westwood for him to live across the street from Westwood. So naturally, he would gravitate toward that school that his families went to. So it is so awesome. 4.7 GPA. James and Preston, those guys have high GPAs. These guys are achieving in the classroom as well as on the football field, JP. Those are the kinds of things that we bring out of this show that nobody else does. And it's great to highlight these young men for all of their achievements.
You know, it's one of my favorite parts, Ed, every Thursday night when we get to recognize the student athlete of the week on CW7 Arizona. And how, I mean, some of these GPAs, I think we had a 5. Didn't we have a 5.0 last week?
Yes.
On our,
yeah,
on
we
our
had a
game
young lady.
broadcast?
We had a young lady. She had a 5.0 weighted, whatever weighted means, but a 5.0 GPA. I'm like, oh my gosh, these kids are just getting it done in the classroom, which is beautiful. That's a great thing. That's encouraging to know that our future, these young men and young women are out here getting it done in the classroom.
They are indeed. Great stuff there as well from the Westwood Warriors and the Cesar Chavez champions. We'll be on the air for that game Thursday night from Westwood High School at 6:30 p.m. for the pregame show, and kickoff is slated for 7. We're going to talk about another big Friday night matchup here in just a moment between the Cactus Shadows Falcons and the ALA-Gilbert North Eagles. But first, as we all know, on Tuesdays, the rankings released once again for the open division all the way down the divisional rankings. And standing at top once again this week at 7-0. Congratulations to the Marana Tigers.
Marana, JP, they're on a 3-game shutout streak. They shut out Canyon Del Oro back on September 27th. October 4th, they shut out Sunnyside 47-0. Casa Grande last week, they shut them out 45-0. So their defense is playing lights out. That's three shutouts. And their offense, of course, is just killing it. Coach Stewart, he's got something special going on with that team. They're 7-0, and they are holding that top spot. And they've got a stranglehold on that top spot, JP.
They really do, and I'm looking forward to the next season already, Ed. As we talked to Coach Stewart last week, we're going to try to get down there for some Thursday night kickoff next season down in Marana, which is just a shade north of Tucson, so not quite as far as we usually go down when we head down to Cienega or even to Mica Mountain, but that's going to be fun and exciting. Desert Mountain holding strong at number 2 this week. The Basha Bears check in at number 3. ALA Queen Creek, the Patriots under Coach Rich Edwards, who's returned to the program there. I called his first state championship game with those ALA Queen Creek Patriots back in 2017. Liberty Lions have moved up the rank. They were, I believe, number 8 last week, and now they've moved to number 5 this week. The Brophy Prep Broncos at number 6 in the Open Division rankings. Number 7, the Red Mountain Lions. They're playing really well. Undefeated at 6-0 under Coach Kyle Enders. He's got those boys rolling out there off of Power and Brown. And making a first appearance this year in the Open Division rankings, the Horizon Huskies checking in at 5-1. So they are in 8th place there in the Open Division rankings. We look down at the 6A right quick. And number 1 there is the Basha Bears. ALA Queen Creek number 2. The Liberty Lions at number 3, the Brophy Prep Broncos number 4, and the number 5 spot held by the Red Mountain Lions. And then 6 through 8 features the Highland Hawks, Queen Creek Bulldogs, Mountain View Toros, and the Perry Pumas and Coach Joe Ortiz there in the number 9 slot.
Boy, they had a tough loss the other last Friday, a 4 overtime game against Castile at home.
Yes,
and Perry was not able to pull that out. But my gosh, what a great game that must have been. As our own Sonia Tellez was out that game. JP.
Yes, she was producer extraordinaire out there. She was feeding me a couple of video clips from that one, and she didn't know it was going to go into 4 overtimes. But Castile able to come out on top there over those Perry Pumas in the 5A. We talk again about the Marana Tigers there in the number 1 spot. Desert Mountain playing really well this season also under Coach Conrad Hamilton, 6-0. The Horizon Huskies 5-1. And then the Higley Knights check in at number 4. The Ironwood Ridge Nighthawks checking in at number 5. The McClintock Chargers also undefeated on the year at 6-0. We talk about their stud quarterback, Jackson Knutson, and one of the prettiest footballs you'll ever see off the right arm of number 12, Jackson Knutson. And then the
that guy up close and personal, didn't we, JP?
Yes, we did a couple of weeks ago. And the McClintock Chargers did a number on the Cienega Bobcats, but always a great time when we have Cienega. And they came to town this time. We didn't have to go down there, but we look forward to going down to Cienega. Maybe next season we'll get down there again, Ed. Who knows? At number 7 in the 5A is the ALA-Gilbert North Eagles. And they have a huge matchup this week against the Cactus Shadows Falcons. I spoke with the quarterback earlier today, Donovan Dixon. He was going to come on here with us, but unfortunately he was not able to make it as he's coaching, Ed, get this, coaching a Powder Puff game tonight. So how about that? The stud quarterback, Donovan Dixon, has been lighting up the stat sheet this year for the Falcons. We're going to take a look at some of his film here right quick. But Donovan Dixon is one of those special players that only comes around once in a great while. Yeah, JP, against Desert Mountain, that time lost last week, he had 3 touchdowns, 93 yards rushing. This kid's got almost 1,600 yards passing, 27 touchdowns between passing and rushing, just 4 interceptions. And this young man just gets it done. One of the great offensive players for Cactus Shadows. They're averaging 100 yards rushing a game. Him and Andrew Muirhead, Jake King, these guys are running the ball to great effect. So we're going to see if they can continue to run the ball. They'll that against ALA-Gilbert North. But as you mentioned, Donovan Dixon, this kid is an absolute stud. He is the truth, no doubt about it. And anytime somebody can rush for that many yards from the quarterback position, he's multi-talented, and you can see the arm talent right there on display in the highlight reel. But he's really brought this Cactus Shadows program into prominence this season.
Yeah, just like his ability to escape all that pressure that came to him, to be able to have a quarterback that can dance around in the pocket. He can call his own number like he's calling on that play, and he just gashes defenses for big runs. That's why he's almost 100 yards rushing this season, JP, because he can run the football well. He reads the field well, so when plays break down, when defenses come after him and he can throw the football, he can scoot and run, and he runs it outstanding. As we see on this play right here, look at him, number 5, which is pow, touchdown.
Absolute speed. They hosted Las Vegas High School about a week and a half ago up there at Cactus Shadows, and I thought for a moment about going up and broadcasting that game that Saturday night. We were supposed to do that, and unfortunately couldn't make it. But I would have loved to seen this young man play, and he's really got Cactus Shadows firing on all cylinders right now. And not to mention, he's got a lot of weapons at his disposal up there as well.
Oh yeah, JP, the highest scoring team in that 5A Northeast Valley region. They've scored 78 points. Yes, their record might be 0-2, but they lost to Higley 56-50, and they lost to Desert Mountain in overtime. So those aren't slouches that they lost to, JP. Those are two really good football teams that they lost. They're still 7-2, and that's why this game is so huge against ALA-Gilbert North on Friday night. That's how big this game is, because ALA-Gilbert North, they're trying to run their record 2-0 in the conference, in the region, and Cactus Shadows is trying to get their first win. They can afford to go 0-3 in the region, as they've got some more tough games after this one.
Yeah, absolutely right. ALA-Gilbert North, now under the direction of Coach Ty Detmer. He was formerly out at ALA Queen Creek, and so the ALA district, I guess you could say, decided to make a change there after last season and moved Detmer out to ALA-Gilbert North. And what does he do? He just continues to develop prolific quarterbacks, and one of those guys really playing well this season for the ALA-Gilbert North Eagles is quarterback Connor White. This young man can spin it like no other.
Yeah, 785 yards passing, heading toward 800 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. He throws the ball well. He runs the ball well. 2 JP. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns this season, 200 yards rushing. But he's got a running back, this kid Cody Thorley. He's nice on offense and defense. I love the way this kid plays. Got 8 rushing touchdowns. JP Thorley leads the team in tackles, 47 tackles, 6 TLs, 4 sacks, 11 QB hurries. He's one of those athletes like MJ Woodbury, like that young man we talked to earlier in the show. Thorley is one of those ATHs that gets in for the Eagles.
Yes, he is. You talk about Thorley. This young man gets it done offensively and defensively. As we take a look at some of his highlights, he's lined up right there, number 8 in the middle. And how about that little goal line thump right there by number 8, holding out the running back there. And this young man can get it done. And I love that end zone shot as well there. It gets you a real good look at all the action that he has to deal with there on a consistent basis.
Yeah, he's part of a really solid defense for ALA-Gilbert North. They've got 22 TFLs, 22 sacks, 32 quarterback hurries. So, JP, they know how to get pressure on quarterbacks. They know how to get it in the backfields of quarterbacks and affect things like you just saw in that play right there. So that's going to be key against Cactus Shadows and this young man, Mr. Dixon. They've got to find a way to get in the backfield and get to that guy. As tough as it is to be, because he's so mobile, he's so elusive, as we like to say. But still, you got to get to Dixon. Even though he's going to be tough to bring down, JP, you still got to get pressure on him. You still got to run after him every single play and try to hard throw the football.
One of the big factors for the Cactus Shadow Falcons is also not only their offense with Donovan Dixon at quarterback, but their defense is stifling as well, courtesy of Nick Stifle, one of their running backs.
I see where you're going there. Okay.
That's a great name for a defensive player. And this young man is going to be trying to get to Connor White all night long.
Yeah, 42 tackles for Mr. Stifle, number 5 TFLs and interception. But he is going to have to do some things, do some damage on defense for Cactus Shadows if they expect to win this football game. You've got to get pressure. We talk about it every single week in the broadcast. Your defense has got to get pressure on the opposing quarterbacks, because if they don't, these kids are good, JP. They know how to slice and dice defenses if they get pressure on them. If their offensive line is doing their job, JP, they're sitting back there blocking, and your quarterback can just sit back there and dance, and he gets no pressure. Eventually, he's going to destroy a defense because he's got no pressure. He's got nobody up in his face.
And Nick Stiefel also gets it done from the running back position as well, as you see him getting loose right there. Number 5, if he gets out to the edge, he is dangerous out in space. And I got to tell you, if you're the Cactus Shadows, Coach Dixon, that's exactly what you want, a guy that can get it done offensively with that defensive mentality.
Yeah, buddy. 300 yards rushing again. We talked about how they averaged Cactus Shadows does. That's amazing. 300 yards rushing again. They've got 34 rushing touchdowns on the season. So their offensive line, they're doing their job. Their running backs, Andrew Muirhead, he's got 9 rushing touchdowns. Jake King's got 10. And Dixon, of course, has got 10 rushing touchdowns. So they've got, there's a 20. That's 31 of the 34 rushing touchdowns between 3 guys. So when it comes to the Eagles, pick your poison on who you can running the football for CS.
You talk about a high-powered offense. That's exactly what Coach Dixon has up there in Cave Creek for the Cactus Shadows Falcons, and no doubt that'll be a throwdown on Friday night as they host the ALA-Gilbert North Eagles, and definitely we'll have our eyes on that one Friday evening for sure, right, Ed?
Oh yeah, and just looking at that 5A, I'm bringing it up on AZ Preps. The 5A, that Northeast Valley is so tough, JP. If you can bring that up on the screen while I talk about it. So Desert Mountain,
Absolutely.
They're 1-0. Horizon, they're 1-0. ALA-Gilbert North, they're 1-0 in the region. Higley, they're 4-2. Notre Dame Prep, they're 4-2. We've seen them already this season, JP. That's a good football team. Again, Cactus Shadows 0-2. Don't get fooled by 0-2, losing to Higley and Desert Mountain, 2 outstanding football teams in that region. They're 5-2. So every single one of these football teams, they're monsters. They're really good football teams. They're solid football teams. And of course, in these regions, these teams are just going to beat up each other, especially toward the end of the season. Every single game matters. And we know that this game on Friday night with Cactus Shadows and ALA-Gilbert North, it matters.
Oh, it absolutely matters. Anytime you get into region play, which we are in right now, you've got to try to obviously win each one of those games to help yourself in the seedings, and especially as we're coming out of the wire. And believe it or not, Ed, we're about 4 weeks away from playoff time here in the Grand Canyon State. Hard to believe.
Isn't it great? It's great. But folks, you look at the tiebreakers. You see 5 of the 6 teams are in the top 15 in the conference rank. So that lets you know how solid that 5A Northeast Valley region is. They've got outstanding football teams. All 6 of those teams are really good.
I dare say one of the toughest regions in the state, regardless of division there in the 5A Northeast Valley. And then you look at some of these other divisions, just not quite there, but so many teams sitting with 5 wins or better there in the 5A Northeast Valley, and not a bad look there as well in the 5A Northwest Valley. You've got the Barry Goldwater Bulldogs and Ironwood Eagles both at 4-2, and then the remaining 3 teams sitting at 3-4. So it's anybody's game right now, but that 5A Northeast Valley is definitely a juggernaut.
Oh, yeah. And then you look at the 5A Santan McClintock. Of course, we saw them a couple weeks ago, how good that team is. They're 6-0. They are number 6 in the conference rankings. They are rolling. Campo Verde 3-3. They're 1-0. Gilbert, they're all 1-0 in the region, but, they're 3-3, 2-4. So they like to have been on the positive end of their record. The 5A Sonoran, Ironwood Ridge is 2-0 in the region. They're 6-1. So there's a lot of really good football teams in this 5A. Marana, we talked about them, 7-0, number 1 in that open rankings, JP. So I'm so excited for all of these football teams. Of course, there's so much talent, and of course, there's only a certain amount of slots. Not everybody that's good can be in that top 8 in the open division or in the 6A, 5A, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There's just so many good teams. There's not enough slots for all of these good teams.
You're exactly right, Ed, and it's unfortunate at the end of most seasons, especially recently since they've enacted the PowerPoints and they play so much of a factor in the playoff seedings that there's going to be some teams that are going to get be on the outside looking in, unfortunately, even though they have a really good record. When it comes down to it, they are just not going to have enough slots available, as you said, to accommodate everybody that wants to get in the playoffs and feels like they should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's really tough because there's so many all these athletes. They work so hard in the off season. They work so hard during the season, every day in practice, and of course during the games. And for them to come up short because of some technicalities with numbers and schedules and rankings and all these tiebreakers and multipliers and all this other stuff that they use analytics to figure out who's going to be in the top 8 in the open division, who's going to be top, in the top 3 in the 6A through 1A. regions, it's so tough, and it's so sad. It's so saddening to see a lot of these teams that will get left out.
It is indeed, but we're excited for our game on Thursday night. It's going to be fun out there at Westwood High School as the Warriors host the Cesar Chavez champions. We'll be on the air at 6:30 p.m. from field level for the pregame, and kickoff is set for 7 o'clock. Ed, your final thoughts here on another great Desert Gridiron game plan as we close it out.
Of course, it was great to have all the coaches and these young, talented athletes on the show with us tonight. You'll run them down, but Cesar Chavez and Westwood, I'm looking forward to that 2-6A Fiesta powerhouses in that region. It's going to be a slobber knocker. Again, as you like to say, I'm going to start using that term a lot more. You like to use it, so I'll use it. It's going to be a battle out there in Mesa. I can't wait to get out there. That's you. This is you and I. This is our first trip out there, our first broadcast at Westwood. So I'm excited to bring Thursday Night Kickoff to Westwood and show off that school, as well as Cesar Chavez. Of course, they're not new to us, but for us to be out in Mesa to show off the Warriors and the champions, it's going to be a great game, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Thursday night.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and I think this is sort of a rivalry that started to build up here between these two schools. We got an East Side versus a West Side, and should be good. 4-2 against 4-2. We've said that for the last couple of weeks, as we've had some really good games on paper that have come to Thursday Night Kickoff, and so hopefully this one will live up to the billing, as they say, and we should have a great night out there on Thursday night as the Westwood Warriors battle the Cesar Chavez champions. For my broadcast partner, Mr. Ed Cole, for all of our guests joined us here on the show tonight, we certainly appreciate their time, and we hope you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. We'll be on the air 6:30 p.m. on Thursday night from Westwood High School in Mesa on CW7 Arizona and CW7AZ.com. So make sure you join us for what should be a great 6A Battle Royale. Have a great night, folks, and we will talk to you again on Thursday evening.